So this, this poor guy, stuck with the idea that enlightened people are not subject to the laws of cause and effect. That somehow enlightenment means that you don't get caught in dualism, or you don't get stuck in the relative side of the world. That's a big delusion. It's a big delusion about practice, is that if you get enlightened, or if someone who is enlightened somehow has a free pass from being stuck in suffering or stuck in dualism, that's not true. That's not real, and that can be a real stuck place. And so a relatively advanced understanding of this practice is how we can be understanding that we are enlightened and that we are perfect just as we are, and we get stuck, we suffer, we struggle, we're going to have difficulties, we're going to feel unenlightened, we're going to act unenlightened, and that's part of it. So if we have this idea that enlightenment somehow is different than unenlightenment, then we will be stuck, and we can be stuck for a long time if we can't work through that. 500 lifetimes? I don't know. I have no idea. But 500 days is plenty of time to be stuck with that and suffer enough to want to change it. So he's been stuck with that. He's been stuck with that idea that enlightenment frees us from cause and effect, and he's suffering with it, and he's looking for help. So he finds a teacher, and he's sincerely asking for help because he's stuck and suffering. And he says, I've been stuck with this idea for 500 lifetimes. Please help me. So he asks the question again, is an enlightened person still subject to the laws of cause and effect? And the teacher this time says, cause and effect cannot be obscured. And so then he's awakened. He has his awakening experience from that, which is wonderful. It's breaking free from that delusion is such a wonderful gift, such a wonderful experience. It's a life-changing experience to be able to wake up out of these delusions that we have, and these stuck places, these ideas where we're stuck. And as you can see in this koan, it wasn't some mysterious answer, it wasn't some esoteric or special answer that he got to help him break free from his delusion. The first time he said no, and the second time he said yes. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't see that one coming. It's pretty obvious. It's a yes or no question. And if no is wrong, then probably yes will be right. But, as you can see where we're heading with this, it's not the yes or no that was the right. It's not about the right answer. It's about him being in the right place to let go of his stuck delusion, to let go of his idea. And that comes back to why this practice takes a long time. The first time he asked the question, if he had answered it in the right way, he still would have been stuck for 500 lifetimes. Because it wasn't about the answer. It's about where we're at. It's about how we're feeling. It's about how our feelings fuel our ideas. So he needed that 500 lifetimes. He needed that time to process, to mature, to grow into the spiritual practice before he could even open up to the right answer, before he could hear what a right answer would be. And it's not about the answer. It's about hearing what we need to hear to let go of our stuck delusions. So, cause and effect cannot be obscured. You cannot deny cause and effect. You can be enlightened, you can be happy, you can be one with God, you can understand the perfection of all things, but if you can't acknowledge when your feelings get hurt, then you're screwed. If you can't tell somebody just as simply as possible that, hey, when you did that, I felt hurt. Or, this isn't right for me. I need to change things. I mean, if we can't be clear that when that we get stuck and we're unhappy, that something needs to change, some other cause needs to create another effect so that I can be happy. If we can't do that, then we're nowhere. Then we're just stuck. I mean, he could have been 500 lifetimes as a king or a rich person. I mean, that's what rich people are. Greedy rich people. People who don't have to really, do the work, are stuck. Just as stuck as a fox. Doesn't matter if it's a fox or the best animal you can imagine. Could have been an eagle, could have been anything. To be stuck in the place where I think that I'm above, I'm better than other people, or I don't need to do the work, or everything's perfect just as it is. That's just as stuck as thinking that nothing is perfect, that everything's terrible, and that I can't do anything right. They're the same stuck place. They just are different sides, different ends of that same stuck place. So, being able to let go of these ideas that we have, that we're stuck on. Enlightenment means feeling happy. If that's what you think, then you're stuck. Enlightenment means I don't have to answer to anybody else. If that's what you think it means, it's actually the opposite. That's how it should be. And the teachers who hurt their sanghas because they think that they're above reproach, or that they don't have to be honest with everybody, that's the most stuck place. To be a teacher means that we're honest with everybody and that we're accountable to everybody. And that if I have an issue that I'm stuck with, and I'm not honest with you as a Sangha, then I'm not a teacher. At that point, I'm choosing not to be a teacher. I'm choosing to be stuck in my delusion. So, enlightenment and cause and effect. Is an enlightened person subject to cause and effect? If you answer no, you're going to be stuck, and if you answer yes, you're going to be stuck. But if you can experience cause and effect in your own life, and you can be one with that, if you can be one with the suffering, you can be one with your difficulty, if you can be one with your stuck places, if you can be one with your pain, then you pass the koan. And being one with it means that you can talk about it. If I'm one with it, then I'm going to express it appropriately. If I express it inappropriately, then I'm not being one with it. If I can't talk about it to you, then I'm not being one with it. And this is part of what we work on here, is this emotional intelligence, being able to identify our emotions and our patterns, being able to express them, being able to communicate what my emotional stuck places and issues are and what my patterns are. This is essential to understanding cause and effect in my life. And it's essential to understanding the oneness in my life. And to experiencing it. The monk in the koan, he had an awakening experience. And that's wonderful. It's great to have that opening experience, but where did he go from there? That's just the beginning of this practice. To have this, to be able to break free from our delusion to the point where we can see that I'm perfect just as I am, and I can use a lot of work. To be able to see that both of these are equally, they're the same, that there's no difference between these two. That's just the beginning of starting to learn how they actually work together. I mean, to have that opening experience is wonderful, but it's just the beginning of starting to learn how that they work together. It's like realizing, it's like I woke up and I realized today that I want to be a drummer. This is my passion. I finally found my dream. I'm totally inspired. I'm totally excited. I feel free. I feel happy. I feel like I'm, for the first time in my life, I'm like really found who I am. Does that mean I'm not going to annoy my neighbors for 8 more years? No. It means I'm going to sound like shit for the next 5 years until I actually master the techniques, till I develop the muscle memory, until I develop the coordination and the balance. It's wonderful to have that opening inspiration. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be able to walk into the next room and spend Christmas at my family's house and not get totally upset and freak out just like I did the last 10 years. That's what takes practice. But that practice is meaningful because it's coming from that place that I understand, okay, this struggle is perfect. The difficulties are perfect. Feeling separate and feeling judgmental is perfect. That's the foundation from which I can start to maneuver between these two worlds. the perfection and the relative. And from the rest of my life is a constant navigation between these two, seeing how I feel they're different, and then seeing how that they are the same. Perfection and relative, suffering and oneness. Constantly going back between the two and learning how they work together in my life, and learning how to express my oneness with both of these is the lifelong challenge from here on out.